wasn't watching my channel. Clearly, he was lying and he did it in efforts of covering up what he really is. Something he has taken a step further by removing all the information about his father working for the Clintons off of Wikipedia. Do you really think it's a coincidence that the no jumper indictment came? Do you think it's a coincidence that Adam, a plant, invited a bunch of gang members to incriminate themselves on his platform for views, and now they're all in jail? This has been Adam22's purpose all along, and by the end of this video, you will see just that.
Giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah Ba'Hashem Hawar HaKodash. Say double honors to our apostles and elders here, great millstone, peace and blessings to the Lord's hopefully elect. So, the brothers have been keeping up with some arrests that's been going on dealing with these gang members. Me personally, I don't know who they are, but it looks like there's a connection. There's this guy known as Adam22, which come to find out he's a small hat. He's a 1948er. And this channel here, the truth is, this brother apparently about 2 years ago called him out for being an agent in a plant because his father, this guy who calls himself Agent 22, his father was best friends with Bill Clinton. And he admitted it on camera. But after he got called out, he goes on Wikipedia and it's no longer on there. And that's because he's a small hat and those Amalekites, they control Wikipedia. So this guy is an agent. And this is what Jake always falls into the trap. But just like him and V-Lad, which is another small hat, 1948er, they get Jake to incriminate themselves by posing as their friend. And they get him on camera and a nigga just like to talk. And then they incriminate themselves because they're working with the feds the whole time. V-Lad and Agent 22, he's working with the feds. So now there's an indictment. So now this brother here is coming back and saying, like, I told you this guy was an agent. And now there's an indictment for these guys. And they're using the footage and the cooperation of Agent 22 to help arrest these gang members. Look at that. Now, why does it matter? Well, there just happen to be Israelites, right? Israelites, which if I recall, you had Alazar and Captain Zaryak went down and actually sat with this dude and talked to this dude for vain glory. Because they can't be reproved, they can't be corrected. But then you come to find this out. There's an indictment. Just look it up. It says Adam22, Agent 22 claims federal agents visited him after no jumper linked to Big U RICO case. So this guy is plugged in with the FBI. He's an agent. It says hip hop podcaster Agent 22 has revealed that federal agents recently visited his home following the mention of his No Jumper podcast and the ongoing Big U RICO case. The indictment, which led to the arrest of figures of Big U, Luce Cannon, and Brick Baby, references multiple appearances on No Jumper, raising questions about the podcast's potential involvement. He said the feds came knocking on my door today. So I could say this much. His platform is probably over with now because he's been outed. And this guy's a real degenerate. He's an Amalekite, and you could go watch the video. But he goes on, this guy's desperate for attention and try to stay relevant. So, he's pimping out his own woman just to get people to keep him relevant, stay relevant, And you got bottom of the barrel Israelites in the world that go down and sit with this guy to talk. You know what I'm saying? We talking about these gang members. Who cares about them? Jake gonna continuously fall for the same trap over and over because they think Esau Edom is their friend and they don't have it. They literally snitch on themselves. Right? But you got Israelites that went down and sat with this dude. And here's what I'm thinking. With this man platform basically over with, and he's working with the feds, that means they watch every chat, they watch every video, they get information from every single person. And that the Israelites are a target. So guess what? They got the information on ISUPK and Sakari. Just imagine what's going through their heads right now. They probably like, I don't care, it got nothing to do with me. But guess what? Now you could be linked. You see? But you see, Jake thinks that the scriptures are oppressive. Jake thinks that Paul doesn't know what he's talking about. Jake thinks that the scriptures can be, you can bend the rules. But what everybody's going to find out as of now and real soon, the scriptures is here to protect us. It's all to protect us. This is why we follow. This is why we believe Paul is a man of the Lord. And this is why we follow what he says to the best of our ability. Now you're starting to see why. Now you're starting to see why it's always been best to just simply obey. And that whole rebellion spirit is as the sin of witchcraft, as the scripture says. This is why you just obey and you just keep it simple and you go out and teach, because now your hands can be caught up in this mess. And we're talking to those Israelite groups that actually, what's a good word, lowered themselves so much that you went to literally the scum. You went to sit down with scum and to exchange words and laugh for what? For what? And now there's an indictment, and this guy's, I found out that he's an agent. This is why we say, you Israelites, man, you are just too stupid to know what's right from wrong, even though it's in your face. But this is what's going to happen. When you think that the Lord, you don't take heed to the Lord's warning, it'll just hit you. Out of nowhere, just hit you. You know what I'm saying? Now you are now known for having a connection with Agent 22 because you were doing something that you had absolutely no business doing. You see how the Lord works? Now this could turn into a whole big thing. And guess who is included in that? Those Israelite groups. Sirach 13. He that toucheth pitch shall be defiled therewith, and he that hath fellowship with the proud man shall be like unto him. So if you like to hang around degenerates, heathens, fucking scum, to talk and laugh and shake hands and what? This is a man that sold out his own wife just for views. And you're going to go and sit down with this individual, this piece of junk, this snake. But, it would have made you look good, so that's why you went. Well, it says, he that toucheth pitch shall be defiled therewith. You have no one but to blame but yourself if these things escalate and you're dragged into some type of court case, some type of indictment. This is what you get. And this is why it's best to just follow the scriptures. That's why the scripture says, don't envy no sinner. Sirach 9 and 11. Envy not the glory of a sinner, for thou knowest not what shall be his end. See? Delight not in the thing the ungodly have pleasure in, but remember they shall not go unpunished unto their grave. 2 Corinthians 6:14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion have light with darkness? Or what concord hath Yahushua with Baalel? Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel? And an infidel is one who doesn't believe. So if you believe, what fellowship have you with an infidel like an Amalekite, small-headed Agent 22? It says unfaithful, faithless. The dude ain't got no morals, but you're going to go and talk to that guy and sit down with him and go on his podcast. Well, guess what? They got your information. Now you don't know what can happen. Because you're linked in with WAC 100, you're linked in with this guy, you're in there now. You're in there. Now your name is involved with a bunch of mess that you have no business, that your name is involved with the unbeliever, with the agent. You have a connection with that guy. Go figure. And what scripture was that? It was one more I wanted to read. Okay. I think I know where it's at. First Thessalonians 5, verse 22. Abstain from all appearance of evil. This is why we do it. This is exactly why following the scriptures is safe. Doing what it says is safe. This thrill of rebellion and thrill of being a hypocrite, the scripture says a joy is but for a moment. And now we're seeing the end. We're seeing the end of the joy of all the hypocrites and all the hirelings. Things is starting to rain now. And when it rains, it pours. Shalom.